Welcome back to the programme. Now, when you think of Indian cinema, your mind probably takes you straight to Bollywood, but also vying for the spotlight is Tamil cinema. One of Tamil cinema's latest offerings is having its premiere here in the UK. The film is called Ticket. I was speaking with the husband-wife power couple behind that film in just a moment. But first, here's a short clip from that film.
அவன் டைம் ஆச்சுன்னா போக வேண்டியதுதான். உன் டைம் வந்தாச்சுடா. நான் ரெடி ஆயிட்டேன். சாகரத்துக்கு நான் ரெடி ஆயிட்டேன்.
Well, with me is the couple behind that film, Raaghav Ranganathan and Preetha. Raaghav, thank you so much for being here in our global studios. Tell us more about this film. A short clip there, but it's interesting. It's almost like two films in one. A geeky professor trying to get the attentions of the glamorous woman, and then also this other plot, which is this is the last day of his life.
First of all, let me say it's a big honor to be here because brings back memories of when I was a kid, little kid. I was sitting in my home with my radio and tuning into SW stations, shortwave stations, and trying to listen to BBC, you know. And so to be here is kind of like surreal for me. So thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. Tell me more then about how you came up with this idea. It's intriguing to mix two things like that.
So the plot of the film really is what would you do if you found out that today is the last day of your life. And so that is the primary plot of the film. The other one is just a premise. So it's not a love story. It's not, that is kind of like the background of this guy. And so we wanted to set that up a little bit with the trailer. But the movie totally is really about this. What would you do? Because that is something that fascinates me really. Because this mortality is something that we all need to encounter at some point of time in our lives, right?
You say it fascinates you, but it intrigues you. You have quite a lot of fun with it. There's quite a lot of humour and irreverence in the film as well.
Yes.
Right. The treatment of the film has been done in a very quirky comedy kind of a manner. So though it is a very heavy dose kind of a subject, death, what happens when you know if today is the last day of your life? Do you fight death? Do you run away from death? Or do you embrace death? What do you do? So what happens to this man in 24 hours? You know, so that's the story about in a very quirky manner.
But we didn't really want to deal with it in a very like morose, kind of sad kind of way, because this is a reality that all of us need to face at some point in time. And I thought let's have some fun with it, really.
I'm puzzled by reading the background to both of you. I'm puzzled how you got into movies, because, I mean, in terms of what you did, human resources, I think, for you, computer sciences for you.
I know.
I mean, how does that take you into films?
Well, I really don't know. So I guess life, that's what life does to you, right? It throws you into places that, as long as you're willing to take the ride, when you come up with something turns you around a corner and you're willing to take that leap, probably you end up somewhere like this. So for me, I've always been interested in telling stories through my performance, through my art. And so I guess I never really thought of this as a profession for me when I was studying. But once I finished, that was when I thought, well, this is something I really like doing. So let me try this.
And tell me more about Tamil cinema, because you heard what I read in the introduction. Everyone thinks Bollywood.
Yes.
But it's big, isn't it, Tamil cinema?
Yes.
It really is big. And actually in Indian cinema, Bollywood, yes, is number one. But kind of in terms of the number of films that we make an extremely large number of films. Last year, we made 290 films in Tamil, right? Which is almost like 70%, 80% of the number of films made in Hindi. And in terms of budget also. And one other thing is that South Indian cinema has its own identity. It's not an offshoot of Bollywood.
But what then? What is the difference then? Is there a difference
because
in terms of the types of films then that get
Tamil
made?
itself, you know, the language.
It's one of the oldest languages in the world.
If you look up any list of the oldest languages in the world, probably the oldest language that you have today in the world is
Tamil.
And it's the one classical language in the world.
And is the subject matter also different in terms of the sort of film Tamil cinema makes?
Usually, yes.
Usually, yes.
Because the sensibilities are very different. You know, the kind of stories that come out, you know, there is a very unique culture that exists in the south of India. So that comes out during, you know, in a film. So it's very different from
But in terms of this film, I would say it's fairly like it's a subject matter that everybody would identify with. So it's not
very. I'll
very
the film in a second, but you know, talking generally about Tamil cinema, you said how big it is compared with Bollywood within Indian cinema as a whole. Why doesn't it get the recognition that clearly you two think it deserves?
Well, I think one, because Bollywood is just, you know, the first mover, right, into the space. So, you know, you take internationally what people first tuned into in terms of Indian cinema was Bollywood. And so they know the Shah Rukh Khans, they know the, you know, Amir Khans of the world. They know Rajinikanth from the south, but they don't know much else. You probably know A.R. Rahman, and you probably think he's from Bollywood, but he's from Tamil cinema.
Right? He's a Tamil guy.
You know what? He was on the programme not that long ago. I want to ask you about a sequence in the film which was very interesting, which is one of the characters is asked, "Are you gay?" Now, explain to me how that was done within the film and why you decided to do that, because it's interesting.
So, the character which is asked that question throughout the film is my character, which is the protagonist in the film. He's continuously mocked and taunted by people around him, hinting at, you know, hey, are you gay? You know how Indian cinema is probably not always very sensitive to LGBTQ issues, you know, that they sort of make fun of this whole, you know, somebody being effeminate, somebody being gay, you know, things like that.
And that's what you latched onto, wasn't it, to almost like twist that around?
Exactly.
Throw it back.
I wanted to kind of take people into the comfort zone by kind of having sequences like that where this lead character is being made fun of by everybody and having everybody kind of laugh at that, and suddenly I make the protagonist ask them, you know. It
was almost like asking the audience, wasn't it?
Exactly. So she doesn't say, I'm gay. She doesn't say, I'm not gay. He just asks, so what if I'm gay? It doesn't have to make a difference to you, right? So I think that was a very important question, because I wanted the audience to kind of be comfortable and suddenly make them uncomfortable by asking them this question. And then what are we laughing at? Are you laughing at a choice that a person has made? You know?
It was very interesting, a very clever sequence. I mean, I described you earlier as a power couple. And what is it like to be described like that? And do you always work together in films?
Not always.
Not always, but I think in one word, it's been adventurous. Adventurous, but I think I've been very harsh on him, because I was holding all the money and the budgeting.
Did you produce it?
Yes, I produced it. So I would always ask him questions. Do you really need this? Do I need to spend money on this? Once he gives me a convincing answer, then I'll say, okay, fine. I'm releasing the funds for this.
But the fact of the matter is, we actually met each other through art. So we always had that common vision about, you know, things we like, the kind of movies we like, kind of music we like. So I think that has kind of kept us together in the relationship and the work. So
well, listen, we've run out of time, but it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you both. Thank you very much for coming
talking to you.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the premiere.
Thank you.
We're back in just a moment or two. Don't go away.